I'll just start, and if I have to start again, please let me know. I've been watching a few of the sessions in the past 2 days, and a lot of people say, oh, it's really weird to talk to yourself. So basically that's what I feel like I'm doing now. Let me introduce myself. This is me, Willempje Vrins. I'm one of the founders of FigureRunning, and we've been asked to take you on a story of the adventure that we did on building this project, community, sport, whatever you want to call it. First of all, I am very curious to know if you're there. And I would like to know who am I actually talking to? So maybe what do you do? Do you have a nice project? Do you have a hobby? Just 1 or 2 words to see who is here. Woo. I see a few people. Anyone? I think there's a bit of delay. So I'll let that come in so I can watch it later. Another question I have for you before we start with the whole introduction is I'm going to get into the concept of what we do. It's called FigureRunning. I will explain everything later, but also I want to ask you if you can come up with a theme or an idea or... now, yeah, you're there. That's good. If you can come up with a figure or something that you would like to see people run, just post it in the chat and I'll look it back up later. And now we can start. Okay. We made everything non-digital, so I can take you through the process. This is basically the agenda of today. We do a little introduction. Then we go deeper into the concept. We'll tell you a bit about product development, especially the lessons learned and how we are improving ourselves in that phase, about the community and the importance of that, before we go further into business plan and some nice ideas about the future, of course. Okay, let me start with a little introduction. Basically, what we did is we started to make something because we were bored. What happened? I had a job, an office job, and I had to sit all day, and I wanted to get fit. So I was thinking, what can I do to get fit? Let's go running. It was perfect for me in the sense that it was very flexible. I could take my shoes everywhere, could do it where and whenever I wanted. The only thing that I thought was that running was very boring. So I was running for 10 minutes, and I was like, oh, I have to go home. Do I really have to keep doing this? So at that moment, I was working in the game industry, and I was trying to find some entertainment on my iPhone, basically. So I was looking for apps to see, can anyone please help me entertain myself during my run? So what happened is I found some running apps, of course, and they were tracking my speed and my distance. But after a few runs, I noticed that I wasn't really interested in seeing if I could run faster or further. But then I found the GPS function of most of those apps, which means that basically you take your phone for a run and then you draw an image on Google Maps. So let me show you how that works. In real life, you've got a map like this one here from Berlin, and then you take your phone and you say, oh, I want to go for a run, start now, and you look at the streets and you draw something like, well, let's see, what can we find here? Let's take an easy one. 2 eyes, maybe a little nose, and of course, a big smile. I don't know if you can see it very well. Yeah, you can see it a little bit. So what I started doing, instead of running and keeping track of my speed, I started keeping track of my locations. So in the beginning, of course, they were like when you learn to draw when you're a kid, they were not that controlled. But later on, I started, to draw more things like this to get some more shape into the pictures. And basically what we're going to talk about today is how we went from this to this. Yeah, that's it. So what happened is I started collecting those drawings, and I was enjoying it. But when you do that, of course, after a while, you also want to show other people what you're doing. So I could show people on my phone, like, oh, look, I made this nice picture. But after a while, I started sharing it on Facebook and on Twitter. And then the fun really started, because I was sharing my art, my drawings, whatever you want to call it. And because I was running in the morning and I drew something like the bunny or something different, the whole day I would get feedback on Facebook. So, for example, this is my Facebook page. So I would draw something, and then the whole day people were like, oh, that's a cool image. And they were guessing, well, what is it? Is it a bunny? Is it a UFO? And not only that, they also, so it gave me feedback and motivation because of getting the positivity. But also they came up with ideas what I could run the next day. So instead of only having the pleasure that day, I was also motivated to go out and run again the next morning. And this didn't only happen on Facebook, but also we got like lots of discussion talk about it on Twitter, digital Twitter, for example. So it started to grow and grow and grow up until the end that people started to also run things. So I would run a football player on one side of Amsterdam, and then on the other side, someone else would run a goal for the World Cup, for example. So in that way, look, these are my runners. More and more runners started to do it, and then we thought, why don't we see if we can like make it even bigger? So we started to think about the things that limited us, basically. The first thing is it's difficult to get all the art together. So why don't we see if we can help people in doing that? Well, and in that sense, we actually made ourselves develop something out of a frustration, basically, because we were limited in some stuff. And that worked really well. Now I've got a little surprise. I'm in Berlin at the moment, but I'm doing this together with some people, my partners in Amsterdam and Utrecht, and I'm going for a run. So what we're going to try and do is we're going to fly you people over to Amsterdam. When I count down, I'm going to stop this stream here, and then you have to press play again because the stream doesn't continue. So I'm going to stop it, you press play again, and then you're going to see Leonieke appear in the screen. Okay, there we go. 3, 2, 1.
Hey, I can see myself. Let's have a look if I can turn this off. Okay, I will have a chat with you too. Cool. I have been running, and that's why I'm a bit without breath. I can show you what I have been running while Willempje was presenting. Hope you can see this. Was a nice little flower. And while I was running this, Willempje was probably presenting her the first introduction of FigureRunning. My name is Leonieke Verhoog. We wrote this with the FigureRunning font. It's our own alphabet, as you can say it. Behind me you see our Olympic ambitions in the Olympic ambition jacket. And I will tell you something about the concept of FigureRunning and why we love to do this. Willempje already told you that FigureRunning is actually drawing while you are running. So you can draw a flower, as I just did, or you can draw whatever you like. And you're actually combining the online with the offline world. So you can combine the physical with the virtual world. And that's what we really like, because only virtual is no fun at all, because you are all the time behind the computer or in the phone or whatever, and that's not healthy. So we thought, okay, let's go running and combine it with the possibilities of mobile technology. So you have in your phone, you have different sensors. So you have possibility to measure stuff like your speed or like the location where you are. You can put yourself on a map. And you can combine it with other things like social media, so you can share it with your friends. You can post the drawing every morning. When you start running in the morning, you can just post your drawing, and the whole day you have this nice compliments of people. Oh, look, whoa, what did you run? And it looks like a flower, or it looks like E.T. or Alien. So that's really motivating and stimulating to go out. And there are a lot of concepts that use this technology as well. It's technology like. You have a lot of examples, and there was a project called Zombie Run where you was running, and while you were running you heard zombies following you behind you, so you started running faster. And there was this other project where you could be in the Central Park in New York, where they had different spaces in the park that had different sounds, so you could make your own soundtrack by running to different sides of the park. And that was really nice. You might have seen the New Balance run. That was how do you call it? It's a race where you actually have to bring a virtual stick, from one side of the city to the other side of the city. And if you manage to do this, then you get New Balance shoes in the New Balance store for free. So that's really motivating, probably, to run. But the trick was that other people could grab your virtual baton and steal it from you and run to the store then and get the free shoes instead of you. So it was really excitement and exciting game as well. You see more of these things growing, and we really like to experiment with these things. To see what you can do with these different sensors within the phone. But you also get sensors in shoes now. You have sensors in Nike shoes. You get different stuff like in the mobile phone the technology becomes more advanced. So you have stuff like the location. You have the camera. You can do something with the camera. So I was running a flower now, and you could actually make pictures of flowers while you're running. So you can combine all kind of stuff. You could also use heart measuring equipment to see how quickly your heart beats. So you could make different drawings out of that one. And we really love to experiment with these two possibilities, the virtual and the physical, and combine those two. So that's about the concept. Is there anybody here that wants to ask us anything about the concept? I see a note from Tim van der Schacht. Is it possible to see Willempje run on the map somewhere? Well, we tried to contact, I will type this as well. We tried to contact while she is running. She's now outside running a figure run. Very exciting. And she will Skype me at any moment now, and she will invite me to see her map so that we can see her running on the map as well. I will have a look if I can find this right now. 1 second. Okay, I will try it later on. I want to continue to the product development. I want to tell you something about the lessons we've learned, because when we started just a year ago, then we were running with other running tools, running apps, and things like Nike or Runkeeper, or you have different kind of measuring apps. But we missed something, so we decided to add things and to build our own app. We found a nice partner, Jan Kroon, to build the app. And things that we missed was like okay, this is a creative app, not a measuring app, not a skills app. It's about being creative. So you want to have different colors. You want to have an eraser when you draw a false line or something. And you want to save it and maybe save it for later so that you can continue running the next day. So save it as a draft. And yeah, we missed all these functionalities to be creative and make it easy to share. That was also very important in other running apps. Then you can you can share your run, and you can show people that you have been running very far, but you can't show them the art that you made while you were running. So what we learned while we were building the app, we started building it in we started in February last year, exactly a year ago. That you have to just start and start building and learn from what people say about the app. We launched the first version of the app in August last year. And we see that you have to make it really easy to start with it, to have easy access. You have to make, what we did is making a playground, making a tool to have fun. And you see all these creative uses of it. It's like magic, or giving them tools to make magic. You see people running names of their beloved ones. As you can see here, you can see that people were running hearts, even boating hearts. Doge. Really nice. And we have all kind of art has been sent to us, so that's really nice. And we want, so your heart, really cool, good job. And we found out that it's even more fun when you have level design, so that we actually we have hidden features, like if you run 10 times, then you get extra colors, and this is also stimulating to run more and have fun while you're running. So yeah, that helps to get you outside. We really want to make the sharing really easy, so that you can put the picture on Facebook, on Twitter, or email it to your friends, or send it to us. Then we put it on the website. We have FigureRunning.com, where we show all the figure runs that have been made, and we also have a figure run of the week. That's also really a good tool to motivate people and to show that a lot of people are working on it. And we decided, we looked at how people were using it, and then we got a feedback, of course, because it's a growing number of people using the app now. And a lot of feedback was about GPS sketch, we call it, or sketching while you're at home, thinking about what you want to run. First, you don't actually know where you have to go. You see a map, you see your streets around the corner, but people ask us, how do you know where the heart is? How do you know where how do you know where a flower is? And actually you don't know, you just have to imagine where it is. Take a look at the pattern of the streets near your house, and then go out and run. And that's actually very easy, but with a sketch function you can be at home at the couch and think about it, like, okay, I want to make a love message for my loved one, and I want to write Martin, I love you, in the streets, and then you can sketch it on forehand, and then afterwards you can just draw the lines and start running. And this is a feature that we're going to add because we listen to the users, and that helps with the product development. Another function that I hope to show you soon is the multiplayer. Then we can see what Willempje is running now, because she's now running a figure as we speak. And I'm going to try it one more time. Let's see. I have to refresh it. Okay. Hope you're still there. Really cool that you're all here, by the way. Let's have a look. Okay, I have to scroll to Berlin because Willempje is in Berlin and I'm in Amsterdam. So we're doing this presentation together. And I have been running just now. I have been running a flower. And Willempje is now running in Berlin. And yes, I see something on the map. I will show you now. Oh, and here she is calling. Let's see if this works. Hey, Willem. Okay, let's see. Hey, how are you doing? Okay. Ik hoor je rennen. Okay, I have no vision yet. Stay, please. Okay, I see your... Ik zie je geen video. Put on your video. Willempje, put on your video. Okay, we see no image yet. I will switch back to the map. Okay. Okay, I see live now what Willempje is running. I hope you can see this. She's running around in the neighborhoods of Berlin, close to the Beta house. And I will wait for a second that you can see her running, see the thing refreshing. I hope this works. Listening to the sound, it sounds like she was running really hard. So, let's see. Oh yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but it changed. She's running on the side here. Super cool. Okay, yeah, it's the iPhone 5. Okay, you caught us in the act. We have to cover it up. Okay, in the meantime, let's see. I will keep this open and I will tell you something about the media and the community, what we are doing right now. We are actually not the only ones that believe in FigureRunning. As I told you before, FigureRunning is really growing. A lot of people in the world are doing it, and this is because we are in a lot of media. We were in the NRC Next and in the NRC Handelsblad. It was the first article, and actually was way too early, or actually was not too early, but was the day after we decided that we started to do FigureRunning. Then we were already in the national newspaper. Really cool. We were in Red magazine, and in the psychological magazine here in Holland, and we're in the Parool. Yeah, this one. But also after a while, let's see if I have it here. We were also in Holland Herald, and this was really cool because it was this is the magazine of the KLM airplanes, and it was in all the planes of KLM. In, let's see, when was it? June, I think. Yeah, it was in June 2011, and after that we got all these hearts from San Francisco, from Denmark, from all the different places, and that was really nice. And yeah, to answer Jan's question, how did you manage to get all this publicity? Well, actually, fun or FigureRunning sells itself. It's really contagious to see, and it's really easy image, and it's really contagious to see people having fun. And we really focus on the fun aspect of it. So we started, actually we never did a press release or thing like that, but people start finding us because people start drawing themselves, and they share the images with other people, and other people see this on each other's Facebook, so it spreads like a virus. But also was really fun because we were first in a Danish newspaper, and then somebody from Sweden saw this, and she worked at a radio station, and we were on the radio in Sweden. It was a really nice interview because first it was in English, She asked us questions, of course, because our Swedish is not that good. And the interview was really nice in Swedish. It was like hudde, 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 hudde. And then you heard us talking figure running. Yeah, we started making a flower, blah, blah. But after that, a lot of people from Sweden started running. And even people started to use it as a to get better after a sickness, and it was really the start of people running in Sweden, and still we get a lot of figure runs from Sweden. I also want to show you, because last week, this is really cool, we were in the Wired. Also, there was a small article about us in the Wired UK, and we were in the Italian newspaper, in the Innovazione Tecnologica. That's also cool. And as Douwe says, or as Dosh says, it's really easy to understand. As you can just see, as I just showed you, it's really easy to understand. You see what you get. It's drawing on a map while you're running. So that's really cool. And this has led to almost 50,000 unique visitors on our website in 2011. We have been watched, or the website has been watched in 116 different countries, so it's really worldwide. And I really like the fact that it's not just only in the Netherlands. And we get about 30 to 40 figure runs a week. We have a lot of mentions on Twitter last few times, especially when we were on the Next Web last week, because we made a figure running font. Willempje will talk about it later, I hope. Let's see how she's doing right now. Oh yeah, it's going to be really beautiful. Let's see. I have to skip back to Berlin because he's centering me on Amsterdam. It's really beautiful drawing. Okay, bear with me. Wonder what she's drawing. Can you guess what she's drawing? Does anybody have an idea what she's drawing? Do you? I will ask it here. Know what Willempje is drawing? Okay, and cappuccino. Damn it. Okay, maybe it is a pink with purple cappuccino. We'll see. Well, how do you handle a new community like we started? First of all, a community once you start it, you have a community for life. Luckily, I knew this a little bit from my other job, but and it's really I'm really happy that we did start up with a community that we really love, a healthy, fresh community that wants to start running, or actually wants to have fun and play and go outside and discover weird places. And we've set ourselves 3 goals in advance. We want to establish a community of figure runners by making figure running more accessible. So we created the app, we created the website where we share all the stuff. Also with the website, we wanted to share knowledge about figure running. So that's why we created a website. And we want to unite figure runners and their art online. So we want to give people inspiration. And this is what we want to, make bigger in the next few, in this year, to make a GPS art gallery where you can see, like Flickr or YouTube, that you can see a complete world of figure runs. And it would be really nice to see that you can, when you travel to Tokyo, that there's already people running in Tokyo, and you can go there and run the same rabbit in Tokyo, or have a cappuccino, as Douwe suggested, in Amsterdam or in Berlin. And we'll have to see. I'm going to try to see if we can Skype Willempje for a live interview while she's running. We'll try this one more time. It would be cool. Let's see if she's there. In the meantime, does anybody have a question? Hey. How are you doing?
I'm back. I'm just coming upstairs again.
Okay. You finished running?
Yeah. I'm now running up the stairs.
Okay, cool. I will talk for another 2 minutes and then let's go.
Check Twitter.
Okay. Bye. Okay, Willempje will be back in 2 minutes. She says that I have to check Twitter. Okay, do you need more people to help in the beta testing of the Android app? Well, yeah. Berglund, I don't know if you're watching, but yes, we'd love you to help us testing always. We want to improve the app. Okay, let's see. Okay, Willempje showed us. I will put this on the chat. Then you can see what she is doing. Check out the link. I put it in the chat. This is what Willempje just ran while she was out. I hope she's still there. It's a really multimedia presentation, this. I hope you like it. And I will. Does anybody have a question about the media, the community, and the concept about figure running? Please let me know and chat while you're here. I can talk about what we did while we're actually we had a lot of nice projects, and Willempje will talk about it just now. I think it's a good idea to switch over to Willempje, and what you have to do is press the play button. You see, I will return from the. I will take it over. I will count from 5 to 0, and then you press the play button again, and then you will see Willempje, and she will tell about her run and about the other aspects like business and stuff like that. Okay, so I count from 5 to 0, and then you press play again. Okay, see you later.
Well, I just did my run, took some phones along, and as you can see and maybe have seen on Leonike's phone and on Twitter, I tried to copy this smiley, but then a little bit smaller version. Of course, to do more advanced stuff, you need bigger distances, but I had to be back in 20 minutes, so that's why I made this nice smiley. I'm going to talk to you a bit about the business model, how we developed it, and what we learned on the way. Yeah. Oh no, you need to restart. Okay, I'm not going to be distracted by the chat. Okay, so what actually happened is that basically we decided to have fun first and make sense later. So we didn't sit down and say, okay, let's start a company, what are we going to do? It was more, as I hope it's clear now, an idea of let's go out and play. And because of all the attention we got and all the people that started thinking about projects that we could do together, we thought, why don't we see if we can take this to the next step? So basically we thought, what would be our dream? And to be honest, our dream was to be able to build a platform, because what I think is the most exciting thing of figure running is that whenever I talk to someone about it, if it's maybe at an event or just at a family location, everyone comes up with an idea. They're like, oh yeah, you could like draw a line with a lot of people from Scandinavia to South Africa, or why don't we write my name in all the cities in the world, and everyone starts to think about how you can collect stuff. So what we've tried to do is start to partner up with a few organizations to see if we can do things like that together. And I've got some examples of that here. There's, for example, a company here in Berlin that does everything with letters. So what we did is we basically asked a lot of people around the world to run a letter. This is Julie from San Francisco, and she ran the letter C, or basically the whole name of her husband, because she wasn't at home that much. But also this guy, you might know him, Joseph from Japan. He ran the O in Tokyo. He is like a social media cyborg running with all those tech things you see around his head during a marathon. And in the end, we got 25 people to run 26 letters in 12 cities, and we made a font of it. So people can download the font, and then you can like write with it in Word or in whatever you want. So, of course, we learned a lot from doing these kind of projects. What is important, where do you get the money from, or how do you get it published? And based on that, we started to do more and more pitches for awards, or pitches for, like the Beta House here, where I'm working now. They have a special beta pitch where you can present awesome projects. We did a pitch for Awesome Foundation. And in each of those pitches, we actually learned more about all the stuff we didn't know yet. So the feedback from business angels and VCs was very important. And it also made us realize that I think a very important thing is that you don't give away your project too soon. So basically what we did while we were talking to all these people, we kept on running, we kept on building what we wanted to build. And then we were taking all the feedback from the different persons on board and see how this would suit. I'm going to throw that. Sorry, I had to keep my phone on, as you can understand. Yeah, it's gone. So we have been changing basically our business model quite a lot. Downloading the font, very good. And in the beginning, we just thought, let's sell apps. Then we realized more and more that there was more value into building a platform where a lot of people are included and doing their own creative stuff. So we designed sort of like a YouTube for GPS art, which we would like to build this year, which enables all those stories that I was just talking about, or all your projects, to be organized. Because now we've worked together with a festival, for example, Picnic in Amsterdam, you might have heard of it. And then everyone could run a heart, and then you could win a ticket. We worked together with the font, but everything is a lot of labor, so to say, in itself. And what if we can build that platform and basically give it to you and to us, so we can all make the projects that we want. So once we realized by doing the pitches and the different awards, we realized, of course, what we know and what we did very well, but we also realized what we really didn't know. We just started talking to a lot of people who at least said that they know, and a lot of inspiring people are very willing to help you and to talk to you about how to at least tweak your business model. So what I always say is that in one way, business model can be a pain in the ass, especially if you have to write one, and you're more focused on the creative stuff. But on the other way, it's a business model, or building a business model is the best excuse to talk to lots and lots of interesting people. So also here coming to Berlin and also in Amsterdam, we've met a lot of great people that have helped us with it. And after trying all those types of projects, we realized that basically the focusing on partnerships was a thing that we should invest more in. So after talking to people, we put together what are the main issues that we should worry about. And we basically came to the following 3 questions. Who wants to get moving, in our case, because it's a project all about moving? Who is interested in getting others to move? And who benefits from that? So after brainstorming about that, we realized that a lot of people at this moment, and there's different reasons for that, find it important to find motivating ways to get people to move. So, for example, in general, people are leading less healthy lifestyles, but also the healthcare systems that we know at the moment are not sustainable. So people are looking more and more into preventative models. And applications like games can be a way to incentivize exercise. So we decided that we should look for partners who are interested in getting people to move, or want to be associated with health and innovations, because that's also a valuable thing, and or partners who want people to use their stuff while they're running or while they're working out. So there are lots of ideas, of course. Health insurances, sports brands, foundations came along, and now we made a start in actually doing that. I've got a little bit, I like this, prints, old-fashioned prints. So basically what we first did is this. We had users, this is difficult, we had users, we had some tools, here, we had some tools, and we were doing some projects with partners. But basically we expected to at least earn money to be able to do the things we wanted through the users. But thinking about the system that we were just talking about, we upgraded this version a little bit. And we came to this one. A bit more complex, but basically what we're doing at the moment is by building a few different types of tools that you can see here and investing time and money into that, we're going to put more effort into marketing what we do towards partners. So they will finance, hopefully, what we're doing and how we can grow. And by that, we can just, give the users a lot of fun. This is basically what we're working on now. And I am happy to tell you that we've got one really big project that we're working on at the moment. But unfortunately, that's all I can tell you about it. I'm not allowed to say anything else. So I would say follow us, and we'll tell you about it as soon as we're allowed. Last few minutes, and then maybe we can go to the questions. I would like to talk about the future. As you might have heard from Leonieke or seen on our website, we've set ourselves quite a big ambition, and this is to be an Olympic sport. It's big, but also it's a lot of fun. So basically, we just Googled how to become one, and it's just very exciting to find out how that works. What we're trying to do now is to be played in 50 countries. So we're doing these different projects, and we're also trying to upskill the art that we make. So, for example, in December in Berlin, we got together 13, 15 people, and we made an art piece of 50 kilometers. Well, the first thing that we're going to do now is we're looking for a partner who wants to work with us during the Olympics. And there we're going to make an even bigger, how much should we do? 250 kilometer artwork during the Olympics, so we can have our first foot in the door of these games. So we've got the secret project, we've got the Olympics, then we're looking for a way to build the GPS art gallery online, so you can make all your projects, and then, of course, in the end, we hope that the whole world is going to be colored. So every street will have a color or more colors, and it will motivate people to go to Russia and to run good stuff because there's no art there yet, and things like that. I think, this is the font, by the way, on my introduction. This is the font. So we came to the last part of the presentation, which is questions. Now there is a bit of a delay. Yeah, think big. Thank you. So you're joined, right? Hickey. There's a bit of a delay in the chat, so please just put up your questions and we'll try to answer them. And you also can still send requests. So if you want us to run something for you, we love to do that. Anything? Shall we see if we can get Leonieke into the... Right. Yeah, Leonieke, come. Oh, I've got a question. What's my favorite figure run? Well, that's very easy. There's two favorites. One of them is this one, because it's one of my first art pieces that actually resembled something, and it's got like a history behind it. And the other one, I don't know if Leonieke talked about that, is the hamburger. When we heard that McDonald's was sponsoring the Olympics, we thought that's ridiculous, especially because they're one of the biggest sponsors. So 1 out of every 5 meals is going to be McDonald's at the Olympics. So what we did is we calculated the kilometers that you have to run to be able to eat a hamburger. So I eat a hamburger, a lot of calories. I have to run 8.8 kilometers to run it off. And we ran a hamburger in Amsterdam worth 8.8 kilometers to show you how much effort it takes to eat that. That's my other favorite. I see a new question. Is it possible to run a figure in more than a day? Yeah. We have the possibility to draft. Just like as you draft an email, you can draft your figure run. And that's also a really nice story. We have a figure run of a family with a 1-year-old girl, and of course they didn't run because she was 1, but they walked a 17-kilometer big cowboy because they just did part by part every day. And I see a new question. Are there figure run competitions? Well, we've got 2 things. One, we set out themes. So we do like a theme of the week. For example, for Animals Day, we got everyone to run animals, or for Valentine's Day, people are running hearts. And we also do some projects. But of course, depending on if there is a reward connected, it's going to be a competition. And we did one reward connected competition with a festival. But we hope to do more and more in the future. So if you have any ideas for good competitions, please contact us. What figure would you run for know-how? Well, that's what I want to know. How? No. Want to know from you. What figure should I run? But what we already did, so that's not really fair. We ran a big question mark in Berlin 2 weeks ago. Okay, next one. I can imagine the whole thing. Yeah, that's a good question. So the question is, I can imagine the whole setting up of figure running took loads of time. How did you manage to combine it with work, etc.? Well, we started it as a hobby. So basically, on my work in train, when I went to the office, I was working on it. At night, we were working on it. In the weekend, we were working on it. And the good thing is, of course, while you're working on it, you're also working on it. Leonieke and I ran about 1,700 kilometers together last year. So that's how it started. And then in July, I moved to Berlin. And then it got a bit out of hand because I didn't have an official job next to it. So we spent more and more time on it. And now we're finding a way to be able to afford that. And a first step is made into that with this first project that we cannot tell you about. Oh yeah, so the second question, do you earn money with it or is it not developed enough yet? I think we're now on the balance of where that could be possible. So 2012 is going to prove that we of course can earn enough money with it to make it sustainable. Any other questions? So what are you going to run? Who's going to run? I see a lot of heads, faces down here. Have you had any public external? Wait. Oh, there's some public external private support getting FigureRunning going. No, we did win a pitch where we got a small budget, and we are talking to some investors. But as I tried to explain before, it's not really a how do you say it? Like a business model that's on the shelf. We cannot say, oh, we do this, so let's take that business model. And of course, everyone wants to invest in it. So we're looking for a way to get those conversations going. And we're now trying to support ourselves through doing those projects. Of course you can walk. Yes. Oh yeah, we're now working on an Android app. If you would like to test it, please send an email to, I'm going to chat it here, Willempje, if you're Dutch you understand it, at FigureRunning.com. And then I will send you a test version. Yes, and we're one of the nominees in the Future of Health Awards, as I see Jacqueline chatting. So we're now also working hard on that presentation to see if we can get going. Can I drive a figure run in my car? I'm sure you can, but of course we would have to say that it's dangerous. So if you do it hands-free, you can. But it's not as healthy. So do some push-ups when you get out of the car after that. Exactly. Leonieke says you cannot. Okay, so you can, but you're not allowed. Maybe that should be the answer. Yeah, that's the link to the future. Hey, Shane! Do you have a question? Oh, I have to move the other way. Thank you. Any other questions, or should I do a little dance? We can make it an Olympic sport. Yes, of course we can. Yes, you can. So if you want to test the Android app, please contact me. And also, during the Olympics in London, we want to make a massive art piece. So if you happen to be around, or of course want to come especially to London for that, please contact us, because we're going to do like a massive multiplayer GPS art something. How many users, how many countries? Well, the latest statistics, I think, is that at least our website has been visited in 116 countries. We've got figure runners now in about 20, 25, if I'm correct. I would have to look it up in the details. And we've got over 1,000 downloads of people using our app, but until now we didn't have an Android app, so we also stimulate people with other apps like Nike or Runkeeper or Garmin watches, anything you can use to track yourself, to draw with that. But of course it's not as fun because you don't have the colors, you cannot erase, but you still can make pretty art. Any other questions? It's a bit like a digitale lieve Lolita. Do a figure dance. Did you actually see me on Skype or not? I just did a figure dance, a figure run, and the people in the hallway were laughing at me. Which Olympic sport can be replaced? Yeah, that's true. We of course have to get another sport out of it. I think weightlifting, it's quite, Arnold Schwarzenegger is still quite cool, but maybe a kogelstoten. I don't know, I'd say it's when you do this. And then, I think we could replace that. I would love figure skating to still be in there, because actually I think figure running will be the sport that is a combination between figure skating and Formula One racing. Thank you, Joyce. Bye. you two. Okay, we're gonna wave goodbye now. I'm also waving goodbye for Leonieke. And maybe see you during the Olympics or next year.